Um, hey, if you're on Zoom, would you mind sending a chat if you can hear me? Thank you, thank you.
Kiri. No.
All right, everyone in Wildcat Chamber, if you guys want to go ahead and find your seats, we'll be starting here shortly. All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. We will go ahead and forego the Pledge of Allegiance tonight because we do not have any flags in the room. However, I want to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place on Thursday, April 22nd of 2021 with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral grounds of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is home to 4 federally recognized Native nations, the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving as the foundation for this institution was and still is stolen land acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. And now we will move into our first roll call with Speaker Pro Tem Saya.
Thank you very much, Blake. So for everyone that is new with us this evening, if you're on Zoom, just unmute and say here when I call your name. If you're in person, feel free to call out here. First, Bellamy. Binkley. Blood. Booze. Kahlo. Carr. Comas. Compton. Cunningham. Demott. Doc.
Here.
Dunlap. Elliott.
Here.
Encero.
Here.
Esslinger. Farthing.
Here.
Frederick. Glasscock.
Here.
Holland. Hotzel. Jambunathan.
Here.
Koch. Kramer. Lane. Lister.
Here.
Long. Lundeen. Lynn. May. Mayor.
Here.
Monteith. Nelson.
Here.
Oding. Pineda Gomez. Porter. Prester.
Here.
Ryman. Richenberg. Ripple.
Here.
Rodriguez. Rook. Solomon. Scharnhorst.
Here.
Shear. Splekel. Stout. Taha. Thomas. Volgamore. Wallace.
Here.
Warren. Willis.
Here.
All right, thanks everybody.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nick. We will now move into our first open period for the night. Are there any speakers tonight for first open period? If so, please indicate so in the chat. Seeing none, we will now move on to approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed on Tuesday along with the agenda and legislation tracking information. Are there any corrections or questions about the minutes? Seeing none, I will now accept a motion to approve the minutes, moved by Senator Kraslow and seconded by Senator Stout. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Seeing none, the minutes will stand approved. Now, announcements for the week. This Sunday, April 25th, student senators will have the opportunity to interview with our newly appointed committee chairs. Interviews will occur virtually from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time in 10-minute increments. Interviewing is not required, but is highly encouraged so that we can get to know you. Committees will be announced during Senate on Thursday, April 29th. Number 2, the committee interest form is live. Filling this out is required regardless of if you will be participating in interviews for committees. Please use the link below to indicate your preference for a committee and sign up for an interview time if you would like. Interviewing is highly encouraged though, and I will talk more about this one specifically later in the meeting. 3, caucus leader elections will occur on Thursday, April 29th during Student Senate. If you have any questions about this position, please reach out to Speaker Pro Tempore Nick Saya at ncsaya@ksu.edu. Proxies for this week. If you're absent, please make sure to fill out a proxy form, even if you don't think your absence will be excused. This week, I have Doc for Kidd, Kahlo for Marquez, and Blood for Bannister. The SGA member of the week this week is the entire judicial branch for submitting lots of constitutional and bylaw revisions. We appreciate all that you do, all that your branch does for students. If we could get a round of applause for the judicial branch. All right, and then we have our upcoming events calendar there, and our quote of the week this week is, "It's not about the song you sing, it's about the people you sing it with," and that author is unknown. We will now move on in the agenda to approval of appointments. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 21-2209? Moved by Senator Booz and seconded by Senator Croslow. Will the author please come forward?
Hello, I will be attending on Zoom this evening.
Awesome. Sorry, let me get down to that. And you are good to go whenever.
Wonderful. So if you are here to be sworn in for the judicial branch, I invite you to turn on your camera so we can recognize you and raise your right hand. So resolution.
Annalie.
Oh, yes. Is there
Do you wanna
individual?
Go ahead. Oh yeah, do you want to read it first and then we'll swear everyone in?
Oh, Lord, I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
I'm so used to not doing the Senate thing, so I'm a little rusty. I apologize. Also, if there's individuals in person too, are they invited to go stand up right now as well?
Just point of order. So you do have to introduce the legislation and then we have to have a motion to approve it before we swear in.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for not being clear on that. All right, so resolution 21-2209 by Ashton Hess, Annalie Hobbs, and Blake Phillips. Whereas it is necessary to approve the Deputy Attorney General, Chancellor of the Student Tribunal, Chair of the Student Review Board, Chair of the Parking Citation Appeals Board, Justices of the Student Tribunal, Justices of the Student Review Board, and Justices of the Parking Citation Appeals Board. Whereas these positions were sufficiently advertised, whereas applications were made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, whereas there were 15 applicants for these positions, whereas the following individuals have been selected by the Attorney General to serve on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body through the next term, and whereas this appointment is subject to approval by the Student Senate, be it resolved that the following individual be approved to serve as the Deputy Attorney General for the 2021-2022 Kansas State University Student Government Association term, Matthew Swords. The following individual be approved to serve as the Chancellor of the Student Tribunal for the 2021-22 KSU SGA term, Jamie Vogel. Section 3, the following individual be approved to serve as the Chair of the Student Review Board for the 2021-2022 KSU SGA term, Kathleen Cowell. Section 4, the following individual be approved to serve as the Chair of the Parking Citation Appeals Board for the 2021-2022 KSU SGA term, Elizabeth Chapman. Section 5, the following individuals be approved to serve as Justices of the Student Tribunal for the 2021-2022 KSU SGA term, Elizabeth Chapman, Flick Clough, Joseph Fuss, Nicholas McCrate, Benjamin Stiglitz. Section 6, the following individuals be approved to serve as Justices of the Student Review Board for the 2021-2022 KSU SGA term, Adam Bendrick, Elizabeth Chapman, Gavin Fry, Kern Kinian, Austin Cruz, Akshay Shastri. Section 7, the following individuals be approved to serve as Justices of the Parking Citation Appeals Board for the 2021-2022 KSU SGA term, Elizabeth Chapman, Nicholas McCrate, Kern Kinian, and Joseph Fuss.
All right, are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Blood, you had a question. Sorry, we are running a mic for the question.
Given that the student tribunal is in charge of hearing any appeals on decisions made, and there is at least one justice that serves on multiple boards, do you see this as a potential conflict of interest issue among the different judicial boards here?
So are you referring to Elizabeth Chapman serving on the Chair of Parking Citation Appeals Board as well as Student Tribunal?
And the student review board? Yes.
Oh, I apologize. Elizabeth Chapman should not be upon the student tribunal. She should be removed.
I have that change noted. Thank you.
So do we need to approve I guess that'd be a fifth person to the student tribunal then? Or will that be at a later date?
That will be at a later date. So we will be having applications in the fall again. And there are a few open spaces, not only on our student review board and our tribunal as well as our parking citation boards. All of our boards are not filled, but they do meet quorum.
All right, are there any further questions or any other corrections for the author? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve this resolution unanimously. Moved by Senator Croslow and seconded by Senator Long. Are there any objections to approving this resolution unanimously? Seeing none, resolution 9 will stand approved. Awesome. And if we have anyone in the judicial branch getting approved in person, feel free to come down front. If you're on Zoom, feel free to unmute your video. Ooh. All right. And then Annalie, do you want to give the oath of office? Or do you want me to? Either one.
I do not have the oath of office.
I gotcha. I will go ahead and do that.
Thank you. Also,
Yep.
Thank you everyone for giving me so much grace. I really appreciate it.
You are good. You are good. We appreciate you. All right. If you will go ahead and raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of the judicial branch and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Oh, sorry. If you all unmute and say, I will.
I will.
I will.
Awesome. That is my bad. Congratulations, everyone, though. Yeah, really quick. Actually, if you don't mind coming back down, we're going to do some introductions really quick. So if you'll stay unmuted, let's see. I'm going to go in order from what I see on Zoom. Flick, if you want to introduce yourself, name, major, hometown, and favorite smell.
Ooh, favorite smell. Hi, I'm Flick. I study social science. My hometown is Taunton, which is in England. And my favorite smell would probably be fresh mint.
Awesome. Austin, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so hi, my name's Austin. My major is political science, and my favorite smell is gasoline.
All right, Matthew, you're up.
Hi, I'm Matthew Swords. I'm from Gardner, Kansas, and I study accounting and French. And my favorite smell is espresso.
Awesome. Kern, you're up.
Hi, I'm Kern Kanan. I'm studying political science, and my favorite smell is a coffee shop.
Always love that. Joseph, you're up.
My name is Joseph Fuss. I am studying accounting and finance. I'm from Overland Park, and my favorite smell is freshly cut grass.
All right, Elizabeth.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Chapman. I'm from Manhattan, Kansas. I'm majoring in political science, and my favorite smell is rose.
Ooh, all right. Jamie, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm Jamie. I'm studying political science and legal communication. I'm from Prairie Village, Kansas, and my favorite smell is chlorine.
I respect that. Benjamin, you're up next.
My name is Benjamin Siglitz. I'm studying history and I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and my favorite smell is freshly brewed coffee.
Ooh, very nice. Always a good one. And then go ahead.
I'm Gavin Fry. I'm from Fort Scott, Kansas, and my favorite smell is chocolate. I'm an Ag Ed major.
Very nice. Did I miss anyone on Zoom, or is everyone good? Awesome, awesome. I think I got it. So congratulations, new judicial members. All right, we will now move on to Resolution 21-22-10. Is there a motion to consider this resolution? Moved by Senator Booz and seconded by Senator Kraslow. Well, I guess I am the author. I'll stay here. So I have a couple of friendly amendments to this one really quick. The first one is just striking all of the names except for mine, just because of a procedural thing. And then under line 65, education should be changed to engineering. All right. There we go. So Resolution 21-22-10, approval of new student senators by Blake Phillips. Whereas there's currently one vacancy for the position of student senator in the College of Agriculture. Whereas Rihanna Dunlap has the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for the College of Agriculture. Whereas there are currently 4 vacancies for the position of student senator in the College of Arts and Sciences. Whereas Austin Rook, Evan Porter, and Gus Scharnhorst have the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for the College of Arts and Sciences. Whereas there are currently 3 vacancies for the position of student senator for the College of Business Administration. Whereas Albert Hotzel and Haley McPhee have the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for the College of Business Administration. Whereas there is currently 1 vacancy for the position of student senator in the College of Education. Whereas Drew Bellamy has the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for College of Education. Whereas there is currently 1 vacancy for the position of student senator in the College of Engineering. Whereas Tommy Compton has the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for the College of Engineering. Whereas there is currently 1 vacancy for the position of student senator for the College of Health and Human Sciences. And whereas Lauren Lane has the next highest vote total of eligible and willing candidates in the 2021 SGA general election for the College of Health and Human Sciences. Be it resolved that Section 1, the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Agriculture, Rihanna Dunlap. Section 2, the following individuals be approved as student senators for the College of Arts and Sciences, Austin Rook, Evan Porter, and Gus Scharnhorst. Section 3, the following individuals be approved as student senators for the College of Business, Albert Hotzel and Haley McPhee. Section 4, the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Education, Drew Bellamy. Section 5, the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Engineering, Tommy Compton. Section 6, the following individual be approved as a student senator for the College of Health and Human Sciences, Lauren Lane. All right, are there any questions or corrections? Senator Long, correction. Yes, you are correct. There should be an S there. Thank you. Any other questions or corrections? Seeing none, I will now seek a motion to approve Resolution 10 unanimously. Moved by Senator Grills and seconded by Rachel Gromez. Are there any objections to approving this resolution unanimously? Seeing none, Resolution 10 will stand approved. If you are a new student senator and joining us in person, feel free to come down front. And if you are on Zoom, feel free to unmute. Yes. Yeah, and also if you have not been sworn in yet and you're a student senator, please also feel free to either come down front or unmute your video on Zoom. All right, if you all will raise your right hand and then say "I will" at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of student senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Awesome, congratulations. We'll go ahead and get you introduced. Same thing, name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
I'm Fisher Carr. I'm a finance major from Topeka, Kansas, and my favorite smell is coffee.
All right, my name's Albert Hotzel. I'm a dual major in accounting and finance. I'm from Shawnee, Kansas, and my favorite smell, I know it's another weird one, gasoline.
Hi, I'm Drew Bellamy. I'm from Olathe, Kansas. My major is English education, and my favorite smell is leather.
Hey, I'm Rihanna Dunlap from Kiowa, Kansas. I'm an agriculture education major, and my favorite smell is the co-op during harvest time.
Hi, my name is Austin Rook. I'm from Junction City, Kansas, and I'm a history major, and my favorite smell is kettle corn.
Hi, I'm Evan Porter. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, and my major is political science, and my favorite smell is like right before it rains.
Awesome, awesome. And then Senator McPhee, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, my name is Haley McPhee. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm studying human resource management, and my favorite smell is like fresh rain.
Ooh, okay. And then Senator Lane, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Lauren Lane. I am a fashion studies major from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and my favorite smell is any like home baked good.
Yes, for sure. If we can go ahead and get a round of applause for all of our new student senators. All right, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, which will be Resolution 21-2211, approval of standing committee chairs and parliamentarian. Is there a motion to consider this resolution? So moved by Senator Booz and seconded by Senator Croslow. And I am the author on this one as well. All right, Resolution 21-2211, approval of standing committee chairs and parliamentarian by Blake Phillips and Nick Saya. Whereas it is necessary to appoint and ratify the chairs of the Student Senate standing committees and the Student Senate parliamentarian. Whereas these positions were sufficiently advertised. Whereas applications and interviews were made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Whereas there were 15 applicants for these 7 positions. And whereas these individuals were chosen on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout their next term. Be it resolved that Section 1, the following individuals be approved for their respective offices for the 2021-2022 Kansas State University Student Governing Association term. Durga Jambunathan for On-Campus Allocations Committee Chair, Jacob Long for Travel Allocations Committee Chair, Max Harmon for the Privilege Fee Committee Chair, Aaron Rose May for Senate Operations Committee Chair, Marta Richenberg for Governmental Relations Committee Chair, Richard Salmon for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee Chair, and Ariana O'Donohue for Student Senate Parliamentarian. Are there any questions or corrections for Resolution 11? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve this resolution unanimously. Senator Grills, you have moved. And then Senator Lynn, you have seconded. Are there any objections to approving Resolution 11 unanimously? Seeing none, Resolution 11 will stand approved. If you all want to come down front or unmute on Zoom. All right, if you'll go ahead and raise your right hand and repeat and say "I will" at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of committee chair or parliamentarian and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. All right, congratulations. We'll go ahead and do some introductions. Yes, name, major, hometown, favorite smell. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Marta Richenberg. I'm a sophomore double majoring in history and political science. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and my favorite smell, I finally picked a Disney smell, and it will have to be the Haunted Mansion. That smell is top notch.
Hi, I'm Erin Rose May. I'm from Oberlin, Kansas. That's with a B, not a V, 6 hours away. I'm studying nutritional sciences with a secondary major in gerontology, emphasis in pre-med. And my favorite smell changes every day, but today my favorite smell is men.
Hi, everybody. My name is Max Harmon. I'm a junior studying biochemistry and global food systems leadership with a minor in agronomy. I'm from the thriving metropolis of Inman, Kansas, and my favorite smell is McCain Auditorium. If anybody can make that into a candle, please, you'll only sell one, but it's mine.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob Long, and I am a sophomore in construction science and management with minors in leadership and business. I am from Olathe, Kansas, and then I will be serving. My favorite smell is chocolate mochas.
Hello, everyone. My name is RJ Solomon. I'm from Olathe, Kansas. I am majoring in personal financial planning with minors in queer studies and leadership studies, and my favorite smell is probably strawberries.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana O'Donohue. I'm also from Olathe, Kansas. I'm majoring in political science. Sorry, I forget what I'm doing. Political science, English with a pre-law certificate. And my favorite smell is probably the smell you get when you first walk into like an antique bookstore, like when you open the doors and whoosh, you know?
Yeah, and then Durga, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm sorry I can't be there in person. I'm in quarantine, so super fun. But my name's Durga. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in psychology, minoring in gender, women, and sexuality studies. And I'm from Shawnee, Kansas. And my favorite smell is, I usually say freshly brewed coffee, but everybody's said that today. So I'll say Bluestem specifically.
Ooh, very nice. Well, congratulations, everyone. If we can get a round of applause and go ahead and head back to your seats. All right, our next item on the agenda is Resolution 12. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 12? Moved by Senator Croslow and seconded by Senator Grills. Will the author please come forward?
Resolution 21-22-12, approval of student body president's cabinet by Maggie Billman, Michael Dowd, Cameron Koger, and Blake Phillips. Whereas the Constitution and bylaws of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association specify the executive branch of KSU SGA include the following positions as members of the student body president's cabinet: Public Relations Director, Technology and Aviation, Salina Relations Director, International Affairs Director, Multicultural Affairs Director, Legislative Director, Local Relations Director, Sustainability Director, Technology Director, Academic Affairs Director, Graduate Student Council Liaison, Athletics Liaison, Basic Needs Director, and Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Director. Whereas included within the President's Cabinet in the 2021-2022 term are the Campus Access Director, Campus Culture Director, Global Campus Liaison, Student Athlete Liaison, Student Finance Director, and Wellbeing Director. Whereas these positions were sufficiently advertised via application made available to all students who showed interest in KSU SGA and via social media. Whereas there were 26 applicants for these 18 positions, and whereas these individuals were chosen on the basis of leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the students at Kansas State University through the 2021-2022 term, be it resolved that following individuals be confirmed as members of the 2021-2022 President's Cabinet: Academic Affairs Director Bryce Atchison, Athletics Liaison Hunter Flack, Basic Needs Director Josh Diaz de Leon, Campus Access Director Ethan Brown, Campus Culture Director Katie Schlichter, Graduate Student Council Liaison Laura Bain, Global Campus Liaison Jacqueline Koski, International Affairs Director Vedant Kulkarni, Legislative Director Logan Cohn, Local Relations Director Reed Cruson, Multicultural Affairs Director Emmanuel Ugwebu. God dang it. Hang on. I'm gonna get it right. I knew I was. Ugwebu, Public Relations Director Marissa Lux, Sexual Assault Prevention and Awareness Director Sarah Haggard, Student Athlete Liaison Lola Plum, Student Finance Director Jeffrey Ebeck, Sustainability Director Lily Colburn, Technology Director Nathan Vaughn, and Wellbeing Director Colin Heimerman.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Question from Senator Booz.
Sure, thanks. What's the vision or duties of the campus culture director? That just kind of caught my eye as something that was different than prior years, so I wanted to hear about it.
Yeah, the campus culture director was really not necessarily an all-encompassing role, but a way that we could really make sure that the atmosphere at K-State is acoustic to a successful learning environment. A couple of the things we have like legislative and legislated for them to do that ties into our initiatives would be like the involvement interest inventory survey, where we're trying to get more students involved on campus, and also like an inclusion coalition of teachers to make the classroom setting more inviting and make sure that we're teaching inclusion in ways that are ingrained within the courses. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Andrew.
Are there any further questions for the author? Seeing none, I will now seek a motion to approve this resolution unanimously. Moved by Senator Elliott and seconded by Senator Glasscock. Are there any objections to approving Resolution 12 unanimously? Seeing none, Resolution 12 will stand approved. And same thing, if y'all want to come down front, unmute on Zoom, Student Body President Dowd will perform the oath of office.
All right. So we'll have everyone raise your right hand. And at the very end, say, I will. I do. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of cabinet member and will, to the best of my abilities, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I
will. Awesome. Okay, well, we'll start here in person and we'll go all the way around. And then, yeah, name, major, hometown, and then favorite smell.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jeff Ebeck. I am majoring in finance and accounting. I'm from Wellsville, Kansas. And I'd say my favorite smell is probably funnel cakes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa Lux. I'm from Olathe, Kansas, studying communications, and my favorite smell is fresh cookie cake.
Hi, I'm Colin Heimerman. I'm a biology major with minors in leadership studies and anthropology. I'm from Hutchinson, Kansas, and my favorite smell is probably bread that's like freshly baking in the oven.
Hello, I'm Logan Cohn. I'm from Lone Tree, Colorado, with majors in management information systems and supply chain management with her certificate in sales. I'd say my favorite smell is like a morning dew.
Not a Mountain Dew, just a morning dew. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Brown. I'm from Salina, Kansas, majoring in marketing. And on the days I'm lucky enough to smell, my favorite smell is probably Orscheln's.
Hello, my name is Reed Cruson. I am majoring in political science. I'm from Overland Park, Kansas, and my favorite smell is freshly baked cookies.
Hi guys, my name is Emmanuel Uguelu, and you could just call me Manny U, so that's much better. And I am from Overland Park, Kansas, majoring in biology pre-medicine with a double minor in psychology and leadership studies. And my favorite smell would be the vanilla candle from Yankee Candles. So.
Hi, I'm Katie Slichter. I'm originally from Clay Center, Kansas. I'm majoring in political science and global food systems leadership, and I'm minoring in Spanish. And I'd have to say my favorite smell is probably lavender.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vedant Kulkarni, and I'm a senior studying management information systems, mass communication, and pre-law from Nashik, India. And my favorite smell is Kedzie Hall.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Diaz-Leon. I'm currently studying elementary education with a leadership minor from Liberal, Kansas. If you don't know where that's from, it's about an hour north of Oklahoma, southwest part of the state. My favorite scent is probably brown cinnamon sugar Pop-Tarts.
Hey, everyone. My name is Bryce Atchison. I'm a sophomore from Tonganoxie, Kansas, and I am studying agricultural economics with a secondary major in global food systems leadership and a minor in leadership. My favorite smell is silage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lily Colburn. I am a junior studying political science and environmental science with a minor in nonprofit leadership. I'm from right here in Manhattan, and my favorite smell is eucalyptus mint.
Thank you, thank you. Now we'll move to Zoom. Nathan, I have you on the screen right now if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Nathan Bonds. I'm majoring in computer engineering from McPherson, Kansas, and my favorite smell is probably pine trees.
All right, and I know we have at least two more on Zoom. If one of you want to go ahead.
I'm Jackie. I attend the Global Campus pursuing my master's degree in personal financial planning and financial therapy. I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia, and my favorite smell is fresh Georgia peaches.
Awesome. And then Senator Bain, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, I'm Laura Bain. I am from Fremont, California. It's a suburb of San Francisco. I am doing a doctoral program in nutrition, and my favorite smell are peonies.
Ooh, very nice. All right. Well, if we can get a round of applause for our cabinet.
Everything else that you've been covered on.
Yes, don't go yet. Wait, oh, do sit. Everyone stay. Thank you.
How's it going?
So good. How are you?
Good. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I feel like we're just gonna be creeping in the back. I didn't realize that you had all these screens up here too. This one just.
Yes, now we can have a round of applause for our cabinet. All right, we will now move on to our final appointment for the night. So can I get a motion to consider Resolution 21-22-13? Moved by Senator Booz and seconded by Senator Croslow. Will the author, I guess I'll take, yeah, that's me. So I will come forward. Resolution 2021-13, approval of the Student Governing Association independent positions by Michael Dowd, Annalee Hobbs, and Blake Phillips. Whereas it is necessary to appoint and approve the independent positions of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association, which includes the positions of treasurer, the intern coordinators, and the communications director. Whereas these positions were sufficiently advertised, whereas applications and interviews were made available to all individuals who showed interest in KSU SGA, Whereas there were 7 total applicants for these positions, and whereas these individuals were chosen on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout the next term. Be it resolved that Section 1, the following individuals be approved for their respective offices for the 2021-2022 Kansas State University Student Governing Association term. Tram Pham for SGA Treasurer, Michael Dowd and Ashley Grills for SGA Intern Coordinator, and Rachel Grolmez as SGA Communications Director. Are there any questions or corrections on Resolution 13? Point. I apologize. I'm not trying to remove our student body president. Michael Arnold will be the SGA intern coordinator. Any further questions or corrections? All right, cool. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 13 unanimously? Moved by Booz, seconded by Demott. With that, are there any objections? Seeing none, Resolution 13 will stand approved. If you all could either come down front or join via Zoom. Awesome. If you all will raise your right hand and say "I will" at the end. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of independent position and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Kansas State University, or the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Awesome. Name, major, hometown, favorite smell.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Grolmus. I am studying communication studies with a minor in Spanish, and I just tacked on a nonprofit leadership certificate. I am from Topeka, Kansas, and my favorite smell is the new hand soap that my roommate just put in our bathroom called Turquoise Waters from Bath and Body Works. Yeah, that one. So.
My name is Ashley Grills. I am from Overland Park, Kansas, studying human resource management. Some other people have decided to name some controversial smells today. So I'm going to go with Sharpies.
Salutations, student senators. My name is Michael Arnold. I'm from Denver, Colorado, studying mechanical engineering. And my favorite smell would have to be fresh snow.
Hi guys, my name is Tram. I am a sophomore, double major in accounting and finance, and I'm from Garden City, Kansas. My favorite smell has to be the mall. I felt like they have a distinct smell, but I just love shopping, so that's beside the point.
Oh yeah, I agree. Thank you all very much. Congratulations. If we can get a round of applause. Ooh, we want a picture. Tram, we're doing a picture really quick. But our communications director is part of the group though. Awesome. Congratulations, everyone. All right. We will now continue on with our agenda. Are there any committee chairs who have a report for tonight? Seeing none, are there any directors who have a report for tonight? Chief of Staff Billman, you are up first.
Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Maggie Billman, and I'm currently serving as the Chief of Staff for Cameron and Michael. Super excited to be here with you all tonight and appreciate everyone being here. I just have a few updates from the executive branch, and we'll try to do this a little more often. A goal of Cameron and Michael and I's this year is to be a lot more transparent with you all, a lot more visible with you all, and just people who you can come to when you have concerns and questions and things like that. So I hope that this little overview of some stuff we've been up to tonight will sort of set the tone for how we want you to come to us when you have stuff this year. So yeah, overall, just want to touch on cabinet and what that'll look like. We'll have our first cabinet meeting next week at 6 p.m. It's going to be like a get to know you / goal setting event sort of thing. And then our remainder of cabinet will get sworn in at Student Senate after that. I do want to commend all of the cabinet members that showed up tonight. I was like, you guys don't have to come this week. I sent them the email like literally yesterday and they all came. Well, a lot of them came. So super, super thankful and proud of the cabinet that I have. I feel so blessed to be able to work with all of them this year. But yeah, all of our meetings for this term, we're going to try to keep them fun. We're going to try to keep them fairly casual. We're going to take a lot of tours of like campus entities, have a lot of fun guest speakers, things like that. So all of you senators and other members from other branches of SGA, you are always welcome to come to cabinet meetings anytime. They'll always be Thursdays at 6 p.m. with a sharp cutoff just in time for Senate. So yeah, with that, all that cabinet stuff being said, just a few smaller updates about some meetings and stuff that Cameron and Michael and I are going to. Today we had our town gown meeting, which is just a meeting that we have with some representatives from the city of Manhattan, as well as some university higher ups that help us out with all of those efforts. Some updates we wanted to give you. Town Gown in the city of Manhattan are very supportive of our Safe Bar efforts. If you don't know what that is, it's sort of like a bystander intervention training that all of the bars hopefully will go through this year. That kind of had a setback last year due to some funding and COVID issues, but we're excited to get that project back up and going. As far as that goes, we just had a conversation with those folks about what the year looks like, how we want to see SGA and the university represented within the city of Manhattan. I mean, a lot of that is going to come from you all. So what Cameron and Michael and our cabinet will need from, and myself will need from you all is just suggestions. What do you want us to take to the city of Manhattan? What concerns do you have? Some goals that we have are to discuss, continue to the discussion about like the bike lanes on North Manhattan that's been had this year. Safe and affordable housing, talking about sustainability and expanding the efforts that are happening just on a university level to what's happening on the city level, as well as thinking about even our campus access director, meeting with the city to talk about what spaces are and aren't accessible. So anything and everything come to us and we can get you represented to the city. Yeah, a lot of that being said, we want interaction between branches this year. So as always, come to us if you need anything. Another meeting we had today was the University Calendar Committee. That one is always a whirlwind, so not a lot of specific updates from that. However, we're trying to get a good, close working relationship with that committee this year. So whenever we have instances like needing a mental health day or something like that, hopefully we'll have good rapport built with those folks and make that process a little easier in representing students. So yeah, that's that. Just another reminder, tomorrow evening from 4 to 5 p.m., there will be Wildcats Walk to End Sexual Violence, which will be just a sort of march that happens. It'll go from City Park to Bosco Plaza. The care office will be there handing out t-shirts. It'll be a good time to mingle with others and come together for a really great cause, and that's to end sexual violence. So I think that's something that we can all get behind. We are currently working on a resolution to make Election Day a university holiday. So if you're interested in that, we're trying to get that submitted by Monday. So just text me if you're interested and we'll get your input on that. And yeah, just in general, like I said, we want to be open to you all and bring your concerns forward to administrators and come up with actionable steps to make our campus a wonderful place and the place that we all know it to be. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Sorry, I'm a little winded. It's been a long day, but I'm happy to be here with you all. I'll stand for questions.
Are there any questions for Chief of Staff Maggie Billman? Seeing none, thank you for your presentation. Are there any further directors who have a report tonight? Speaker Pro Tem Saya, you have the floor.
I don't know what we need to do to get this slideshow set up here.
So it's one of the
Alrighty, good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about caucus leader elections, which are going to take place during our last session of the school year next Thursday. So of course, every college is going to appoint a caucus. And I know I talked a lot when I was running about what I wanted to do with the caucus leaders, because it's the pro tem's responsibility to sort of oversee that program. Tonight, I just want to give you a better picture of what I'm looking for out of those leaders, so all of you can kind of gauge whether or not you're interested in running, or next week, what you need to look for in the candidates that basically are seeking your vote. So I really outline, oh shoot, is this not rats? No, I don't think it is. Thank you, sorry. Okay, so my ultimate goal is to have these caucus leaders serve as extensions of our communications office and function. I want more people in this body serving as direct engagement with the students. Not only do I think that's important to improve our ability to connect with students, but I think it's important to give all of you the opportunity that might be interested in social media and outreach and engagement, the chance to find leadership positions of your own. So hopefully this can kind of show you what my intentions are with the program and maybe what kind of skills you should look to have to be able to serve in that role. Other than that, if you have any questions at all, please email me, please call me. I'm happy to answer anything at all. And while I'm definitely not in the office as much as Blake is, I am there as much as possible. So feel free to pop in, whether it's about caucus leaders in general or about anything. We'd love to see you. And that's all I have for this evening.
Awesome. Are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tempore Saya? Seeing none, thank you for your report. And then are there any further directors who have a report tonight? Seeing none, I have a report. And so I'm going to pull that up really quick. All righty. Hello, everyone. So we have a very exciting weekend ahead of us. We are going to be going through our committee selection process this weekend. So, as a student senator, at least most of our student senators are required to serve on a committee. And so we're going to be going through that process over this weekend. On the agenda, like I mentioned in the announcements section, we have a committee interest form. And so this is the opportunity for you to indicate like what committees you'll be interested in for the coming year. And so the way that this process is going to work, so your first step is going to be filling out this form on the agenda. And so this will ask you first, like some basic information. It'll give you a little bit of information on all the committees as well. Here during College Caucus time, we'll be doing a presentation from our committee chairs. And so you'll get to hear from their perspective what their goals are, what the committee's about, and why you should be part of the committee. And so during that, you'll just get some basic information. You'll be able to rank all of the committees from 1 to 6 from our 6 standing committees. And then you'll also be able to indicate your individual interest in each committee from a scale of 1 to 10. And so with that, you will also have like a few questions just to kind of get to know like your like style, things that you're interested in, what perspectives you can bring to a committee, and different things like that. We also have options this weekend for interviews if you would like to interview with our committee chairs. And so this is really highly encouraged just so we can get to know you a little bit better and see firsthand what perspectives like you'd bring to a committee, and our chairs can really get to know you. However, this is not required. Those interviews will be from 2 to 6, by the way, this Sunday. And so they'll occur over Zoom. Our committee chairs might be in person, but all the interviews will be in Zoom just to be the most equitable to everyone. And so I would really, really encourage this if you want to make sure that you have a committee that is like your highest preference. Definitely go and interview so you can really express why you feel like you should be on that committee. Another option, if you can't make it to our interviews or if you just don't want to participate, we can submit our interview questions to you and you can just respond to them via written response. And so that is also an option. Or if you just want to go off of the answers that you provide in the committee interest form, that is also totally fine. And so up to you, whichever one of these three that you want to choose, you'll just indicate so on that form. And so filling out that form is required. The interviews or the questions are not, but definitely highly encouraged. So once you click on that form, you'll also see some doodle polls on there. If you are planning to interview, please fill out those doodle polls ASAP so that you can reserve your spot for those interviews. So step 2 of this process is going to be those interviews. And so on Sunday, when these interviews are happening, we will have 2 different panels. Our finance panel, which will contain our on-campus allocations committee, travel allocations committee, and our privilege fee committee. Those 3 chairs, as well as myself, will be in there just asking some questions. It'll be one question that's the same for every single candidate, and that is going to be basically just explain like why your first preference is your first preference. And then each of our committee chairs get to submit a question that kind of gets at something that they're looking for in a potential committee member. And so that will be what those will look like. Our second panel is that project panel, which contains Senate operations, governmental relations, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. So whatever you mark as your first choice, if your committee is included on that, you'll interview with that panel. And so that is how the interviews will go this weekend. After that, we will all sit down and our committee chairs will be deciding our committees for the year. And so our third step in this, how you guys find out what committee you're going to be on, is going to be a committee reveal that's going to happen 1 week from today. And so during Senate, we're going to have like a cool little process to kind of reveal who is on the committee and who you'll be working with really closely this year, what chair you'll be with. And so I'm really excited for that process. Nick, if you want to hit the next slide. And so I got a lot of really good feedback on my timeline from last week. And so I decided to make another one because I also really like how it looks too. And so this is what our Student Senate timeline looks like for the rest of the semester. So tonight we have Student Senate. Here shortly, we will be having our committee presentation and we'll begin filling out those interest forms. Tomorrow, those interest forms are going to be due by 11:59. So please make sure that you get that filled out by tomorrow so we can have a chance to look over those before interviews and work with any potential conflicts that there might be. Additionally, on April 25th, so this Sunday, that is when those interviews are going to happen. Those are going to be 10-minute virtual interviews like I talked about a little bit earlier with one of the panels. Those times are from 2 to 6. And then, like I said, one question from each committee chair, as well as why you're interested in your top preference. On April 27th, that's a Tuesday, we will have our first Senate Executive Committee meeting. And so this will be where myself, all of our committee chairs, our independent positions, as well as our executive leadership and judicial leadership all get together and have a meeting. And so that will be at 7 p.m. and it'll be a hybridized meeting. And so if you're interested in attending, you are more than welcome to, but you don't have to by any means either. We will be mostly working on our legislation that will be introduced later tonight. Since Senate Exec is the only committee that is currently formed, everything will be referred to that, surprise. And so, yeah, that is something to look forward to. And then 1 week from today is going to be our final Student Senate of the term. Or not of the term, of the school year. We're not ending that early. So yeah, like I mentioned, we'll be having our committee reveal on that day, as well as our caucus leader elections. So like the announcement said, if you are interested in running for the position of caucus leader, please feel free to reach out to Nick. I know that he'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. Or I was also a caucus leader last year, so you can feel free to talk to me as well, or anyone else who's been in that position. And yeah, we'll be finalizing our legislation right before summer break. And then finally, May 3rd through 7th is Dead Week. Make sure to get that studying in, but not too much. And then finals is the following week. And then we are done for the school year. It is coming up very fast. And so, yeah, as far as summer break goes, being a student senator, you don't have any legislated or required responsibilities. Totally up to you. If you want to work on any SGA projects, you're more than welcome to. I'll be sending out a few updates over the summer as well. So be on the lookout for some of those. But take the summer off, enjoy. And so, yeah, that is all that I have for tonight. Are there any questions for me before we move into our committee presentations and college caucus time? Senator Demott, you have a question.
Yeah, so I was just wondering when that interest form link goes live, because I went ahead and tested it and it did not work for me.
Ooh, did it not work? That's really awkward. Click it in the PDF.
Okay, I'll try that.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I am going to just go ahead and send it in the chat really quick. I feel like that'll make it easier. But yes, I apologize for that. Let me go ahead and do that. Are there any other questions while I'm doing that though? Okay, the link is in the chat. And so click on that. Like I said, fill out that doodle poll ASAP. But yes, let me know if that one works, if anyone can open it up. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So unless there's any questions, I will actually have our committee chairs come down front and then Durga on Zoom, and we will go ahead and do move into college caucus time, which is going to be used today for that committee presentation. And so I will get that pulled up right now. All right. Committee chairs, feel free to come on down. Yep, we'll do that. I feel like Bob Barker, come on down. All right, Durga, you are up.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's me again. I'm Durga and I'll be chairing the On-Campus Allocations Committee, or OCAC. I'm really looking for people who are detail-oriented, collaborative, adaptable, cool and fun, if you like working on a team. And then here's just an overview of what we'll be doing over the year. So OCAC meets with ISOs and DSOs to review their funding requests for events that they would want to plan. Our committee will ensure that these funding requests meet guidelines and will determine what's fundable. And then in the spring, we'll allocate funds to all colleges for their respective open houses. And then along with those yearly goals that we'll have to do, here's my personal vision for OCAC. I really want to hit outreach hard because of this last year with COVID and everything. A lot of on-campus events didn't happen, or if they did happen, they were over Zoom, so didn't necessarily need funding. So I really want to build SGA's relationship with the university and university ISOs and DSOs up again, and really advertise that SGA has free money and you should take advantage of us because we're here to help you. And then along with outreach, promoting the events that we fund and attending those on-campus events. My next goal is accessibility. So OCAC will present at college council meetings to tell them the purpose of it and to make step-by-step presentations about how to apply for funding. Just going along with, we have money, please take advantage of us. Here's exactly how to do it. And then OCAC is really a committee for you if you like writing legislation, or maybe you haven't had a lot of experience with that and you want to get more experience. So you will write bills about the funding that we do for organizations and you'll get to present them. So pretty fun. I put my contact information at the bottom, my email and phone number, if you have any questions, or if you just want to chat, we could tell each other secrets or something. I don't know. But yeah, also OCAC is just a really fun acronym and it's nice to say. So join my committee, hang out with me. That's all I got.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jacob Long, and I'm the chair of Travel Allocations Committee, which is a better acronym, TAC. So, TAC receives and reviews funding requests from all of our campus and organizations who want to travel if you want to go somewhere. So, if I think the example I've been using previously, if the Palm Tree Preservation Society wants to go to Guam to study palm trees, don't fact check me on that, then we give them money to go and do something like that. Merits in education, like Durga was saying, on campus and TAC will work closely together because it's two sides of the same coin. And then we also, our big thing is we allocate all the funds to sports clubs in the spring. And like Durga said, a big part of our responsibility this year will be building up publicity and education and just getting to know the DSOs and ISOs again after the year of COVID and stuff like that. Next slide, please. So stuff on TAC, or like how to know TAC is for you. So the big thing on TAC is we get to meet students and organizations and people and learn what they want to do and where they want their education to take them. And doing that is great. And it's really fun to get to know people. And so if you like doing that, TAC is for you. Additional stuff, organizations key. It's a lot of money and stuff like that. Got to be organized. Strong work ethic, great communication skills. Communication is important in everything. Everything we do here in SGA is communication oriented, but it's very important for this as well. Teamwork's important too, and then passion for what you do. Yeah, we need passion for helping people and actually doing the work we do. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Max, and I would love to request that all of you seriously consider prepping PrivFee as the committee where you're going to make an impact with your term as a student senator. And PrivFee is an amazing way that you get to do that. So if you aren't familiar, the privilege fee is approximately this $472 fee that almost every student on campus pays each semester. So that's almost $1,000 from every student every year. And that totals up to a total budget of approximately $16 million. And the privilege fee committee is the group of students that allocates how that money is spent on various entities. And we send that to administration, and ultimately Kansas Board of Regents has to approve that. But something that PrivFee committee has that's really special is we have a historic track record of being upheld. To my knowledge, PrivFee committee has never been overturned. The one time admin tried to, KBOR stood with us. And so that was really awesome. And some fun facts up there. It's a floating fee, so it's based on enrollment. We allocate a total amount of money, and based on how much enrollment comes in, that fee floats. So it's not an exact number. It's based on how many people we have enroll. More students means more people paying in, means a lower fee for everybody total. Some of the big names that we fund, you'll recognize Lafayette Health Center, so all of student health services, the Student Union, UPC, Collegian, rec services, counseling services. The big three are the Union, the rec, and Lafayette Health Services. And something really cool about this year, we're going to be reviewing 2 out of the 3 big 3. So if you crunch some of the numbers, it's over 50% of the total budget. And when you take out bond allocations, which is like non-negotiable, out of the entire things that PrivFee gets to allocate negotiably, it's going to be about 70% of the PrivFee budget. And so this is the year, if you care about how student fees are used and learning about how money is used across campus, and in my opinion, one of the biggest direct student impacts that SGA has, I think it's on PrivFee committee. And if you shoot over to the next slide, some of what the committee looks like is we hear requests each year on a 3-year cycle for entities. So they will come in and do a presentation and present their request. We ask lots of questions, get tons of information, look at a lot of spreadsheets, look at a lot of numbers, and then use all of that info to debate, make some of those values judgments, and decide where student dollars are best used on campus. And so I'm really looking for committee members who have, I want a really diverse committee. So I want people with different skill sets. Those bullet points are some of the highlights. Having a passion for student fees and how student dollars are used is key.
And using that passion to ask the challenging questions that need asked is one of the best skills a Priv committee member can have. We have to have some tough conversations, and we need all of the info at our disposal from entity directors that we can. So that's really important. Working with those constituents, doing that research, considering different perspectives. This is one of the biggest things that I loved seeing in my term on Privilege Fee Committee last year, is getting to see the different perspectives we students bring to that committee and how these different entities really serve campus. And so having different perspectives on that committee is going to be really important for me. And then engaging in discussions and debate. Definitely, if you have that passion and can wade into those discussions, I invite you to pref Priv Fee. That's my contact info. Priv Fee takes in a lot of information. It's a big thing, and you've got to intake a lot of information. And so there's lots of questions every year. It's my goal as committee chair to keep all of Student Senate really up to date on Priv Fee this year. But if you want to be in the room where it happens, to quote Hamilton, pref Priv Fee.
Okay, hi, I'm Erin Rose May. I will be chairing Senate Operations. This is my first year, so I'm still learning, as everyone else is probably learning with me. I'm really excited for this. I guess kind of Senate Operations, you probably know what it does. Just so you know, if it doesn't work in your schedule, we will be meeting Monday nights next semester and the semester after that. So if it doesn't fit in your schedule, maybe this isn't the best choice for you, but it kind of has to meet Monday night. That's like the first thing that I want to say. This committee is for you if you are detail oriented, because basically we look at all of the legislation that comes through before it even gets to Senate. And we don't really approve it, but we look over it and make sure that everything is correct, grammar wise, wording wise, make sure that the information is correct. And so I know that this isn't like the funnest thing reading through documents, but one of my goals is to learn more about each member of my committee and what your interests are. So if like a resolution comes through and you're an engineering student, obviously I'm gonna say, hey, can you look over this, make sure everything's correct, because that's what you're interested in. That's not what I'm interested in. If you're knowledgeable in the rules of grammar, punctuation, etc., that's obviously a big help, because that's mostly what we do, is just make sure that documents look good and that they're not like ugly like a fifth grader wrote them or something. Hopefully we all passed fifth grade English. Some of my personal goals are to be more transparent and do more outreach with the whole university, as well as SGA, because a lot of people don't know that you don't have to be in SGA to write a piece of legislation. And I feel like that's something that everybody should know and people should start taking advantage of also. And then another thing that I want to do is make some friends, because, you know, COVID sucks. I'm ready to meet people. And I really want to, you know, help make our governing docs better than they already are. And yes, this also, if you like to be the first one to know stuff, this is the committee for you. You're going to get all the tea from the documents before it even comes to Senate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Solomon. I often go by RJ. So I'll be chairing the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee this year. This committee is focused on two specific areas. One is the exploration and developing of equitable policies on campus and also in SGA. And that includes focusing on historically underrepresented groups on campus and in SGA. And oftentimes we will collaborate with students within SGA and students and organizations on campus to ensure this process is done as best as possible, because often many of us don't know how to solve problems and people do know how to. And the second main thing, which is kind of what happened with the merger and what created DEI a couple years ago, is increasing interest and participation in SGA. Our job is to outreach to student organizations, because this is a wonderful organization to be a part of, and SGA has the capacity to serve and represent students, and so we should be able to get our information out there as much as possible to ensure people have that chance to do so. And so we'll conduct different types of outreach, whether it be emails, talking to organizations. We create awareness and build intentional relationships, so it's more than just going and presenting and being like, hey, we'd love for you to join. It's that continual process of talking with them. And also we represent SGA's values and ambitions. And so we try to present ourselves as SGA would present themselves as a whole, to ensure students understand who we are and the goals we have. Go next slide. So you understand what this committee is, but like these are the main things. If you really do want to make an impact on campus, if you are open to new ideas, if you have communication skills, if you want to advocate for students, and if you have a diverse perspective and are willing to listen to diverse perspectives, this is the best committee, because we may not write as much legislation as other organizations or other committees, but we truly can have an impact on campus because we get to be the forefront of what SGA is, and we get to ensure that students feel included on campus, that it's a diverse campus, and we're taking in different perspectives to ensure we are actually succeeding as SGA. Some of my personal goals is one, improved outreach. This will come in various forms. One of the biggest ones is there was a campus climate survey that came out from the university a couple, I think, weeks or months ago. And my goal is actually to create a DEI student-run, student-led campus survey that sent out organizations to understand what problems they see on campus, what things they think could solve them, and therefore we have a good idea of where to go during the year based on those issues. And then secondly is college accountability. This comes in a couple different forms. One is working with other committees to ensure that not only they're accountable, but also different people on campus are accountable. And also working with different faculty and administrators to ensure that when things on campus inevitably happen, such as the incidences we had this semester and last semester, they are able to respond to those different things, because our president of the United States, not the United States, president of a university or SGA ourselves saying, hey, we understand where you're coming from is one thing, but your faculty member, like your professor saying, I understand what happened and I'm here for you, that's a completely different thing. And so we want to have that impact in a much more direct setting rather than having the blanket statements that so often come with this. Overall, this is a committee that can make an impact, and it truly shows in everything we do, whether it be here in SGA, making things more equitable, or throughout campus. So I highly encourage you to join.
Hi guys, I'm Marta and I will be your GR chair this year. So if you're interested in government, the environment, mental health, and hearing from local, state, and federal officials, definitely recommend GR. By all means, this will not be the only thing we work on. I think the really beautiful thing about GR is a lot of things fall under GR. And so that means we get to work on whatever people in the committee feel like they want to work on and something that they're passionate about. So if there's something you're really, really passionate about, and so join the committee and do something for it. Another main thing that I want to do for this term is help educate the student body on what's going on in local, state, and federal governments, just because I feel like sometimes it is very hard to access that type of information or understand that type of information. And so being able to help educate the student body about that is super important. And another thing is to teach the student body how to advocate for themselves when it comes to certain policies that are in our government, because, you know, reaching out to your senators and representatives can seem really, really scary, but I promise you, they want to hear from you just as much as you want to talk to them. So that'll be a big thing that I plan on working on this year. Another cool thing that I am incorporating this year is having multiple speakers come at least monthly to talk about their different careers. Again, I think GR is super cool because it fits into a lot of people's career goals and what they want to do after college. So I definitely want to take advantage of that and bring in speakers so, you know, people on the committee or literally anybody in SGA can work on networking and maybe find their future career. But yeah, there's my email. Feel free to email me at any time. Doesn't even have to be formal, just a chat, tell me a joke, literally anything. But yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Can we get a round of applause for our committee chairs? You guys are good. Awesome, thank you, thank you. So if you have any questions about any of those committees at all, please feel free to reach out to them. They're all very nice people. And so definitely do that. And so right now, we are actually going to take a quick pause. And so I know I mentioned earlier to fill out that doodle poll ASAP. We are going to take an opportunity to do that really quick. And so we are going to kind of take just a short little informal break. We will get started again at 8:27. And so take these 5 minutes, fill out that doodle poll if you're wanting to interview. Again, highly encourage that. If you get done, or if you've already done that, I've seen some coming in on my watch right now, which is very exciting. But take the time to say hi to the person next to you, get to know people. This will be the majority of our Senate group this year. And so really exciting, really great group of people to work with. And so at 8:27, I'll come on the mic again and yeah, fill out that form. All right, everyone. I have received several emails, so thank you all very much. Please make sure if you haven't filled out that yet and you do still want to interview, please fill out that ASAP. And then that Google form itself, the purple themed one, will be due tomorrow night. So please make sure to have that filled out by then. All right, and so we will go ahead. Let me screen share the agenda again. Do I not have? we go. Okay. Awesome. So now we will not have any final action tonight. So we will move into introduction of legislation. And so first up is Bill 212201, amendments to the KSU SG8 bylaws concerning the judicial branch. Is there a motion to consider Bill 1? Moved by Senator May, or Chair May, and seconded by Chair Long. Oh no, Chair Long moved to allow the author to summarize. We have a second for something. If I get a second, I'll consider it for both, but okay. It has been moved to summarize and be considered. Will the author please come forward for Bill 1? I have to check. Are there any objections to the motion to summarize? We have an objection to the motion to summarize. Okay. With that, we'll proceed into a hand vote to allow the author to summarize. If you would like the author to be allowed to summarize, please raise your hand using the raise your hand feature in the chat, or in the participants window. I see a clap. You must do the raise hand one because the clap goes away after 10 seconds. So I appreciate your enthusiasm. Oh, we have lots of thumbs up too. Please make sure to raise your hand. I appreciate the thumbs up, but all right. I have that down. If you are opposed to allowing the author to summarize, please raise your hand.
Yeah, that one. Should I be scrolling it on there instead of looking it on here, I guess?
All right, the motion to summarize passes. And so the author will be allowed to summarize. And so Andrew, you can go ahead.
Thank you. I think both that makes sense because this is a big piece of legislation. And I also think it makes sense because reading, we capitalize this one word for 20 minutes would not be a good use of our time. So if you don't know me, my name is Andrew Booz. I am a student senator, and for the past 2 years, I was the Senate Operations Committee Chair. And so in my role as that, I kind of jumped into helping the judicial branch revise their constitution and their bylaws. They already worked last year on revising just the code of conduct, which is section 3 of the judicial section of the bylaws. And they also had a lot of changes to other parts of the document that they thought would be important. And I just kind of jumped on that and helped that happen. So I'll just try to be only going over the major stuff. If you have any questions, please do bring them up. So the first thing right there is section 1 is removing the recommendation committee section from actually our article 4, which is the legislative article. And so it actually did move everything that was important from this section down into article 5, which is for judicial. So that should not be a problem. We also, on the next section 1 here, we changed a lot of the definitions, did some other stuff there. And yes, we do have Attorney General Hess, who's here to answer questions, which is cool. Thank you for being here. So I won't go over the changes in definitions, or let's see, the changes in section 2 are minor. The changes in section 3 are also minor because we already made changes to that. That's the conduct code. Let's see, So the major changes started in section 4. And so the Attorney General Recommendation Committee has kind of been altered a little bit. In particular, last time this was reviewed, which was probably about 5 or 6 years ago, the president technically had a role in appointing the Attorney General. And so we changed that to entirely be the Attorney General Recommendation Committee, which is a committee that's composed in part of appointees by the president, but also appointees from the legislative branch and the judicial branch as well. Then we also took out the other stuff about resigning, and a lot of section 6 as far as the duties of the Attorney General goes. And the reason that we did that is because we moved it to the Constitution in the other bill, and Bill 2, that was also being introduced tonight. And that is basically to make sure that it's in line with the other branches, which have the duties of their first 2 or 3 leaders in the Constitution. We also took out a lot of housing and dining related stuff. They do have some judicial authority, mostly breach of contract stuff. However, we used to have basically all sorts of courts that were judging people from housing and dining. We no longer have those. We have not operated those for at least the past couple of years, so we just took it out. In section 7, resolution of complaints, we added a section about how we assign people to various types of hearings, either an administrative hearing or judicial hearing. That's pretty big. We also changed everything to basically being class days instead of total amounts of hours. So it's like business days, but if we are open for business but do not have classes, that does not count as a class day. Let's see. We also removed some non-compliance stuff, that's fine. As I said, this is a big piece of legislation. In section 9 sanctions, we added a particular thing about how judicial assigns sanctions, and that the sanctions are not based upon evidence of prior violations. That's current policy that we're just codifying. And then there's the entire list of sanctions in here as well that could be used. 12 through 15 on this list of sanctions was actually moved to another section further down. They were not deleted. Or 13 became A, and then these other stuff was moved around. And then this enforcement section is also moving from other parts of the document. So yeah, that's 9D. Appeals is pretty much the same, although we did remove the role of the university president in judging appeals because I think that's mostly a function of the dean of students and not the president as of right now. This enforcement section 12 here was the part that was moved to that subsection D relating to enforcement because it made more sense there. Parking citation appeals board is barely changed. Let's see, interpretation is barely changed other than removing some stuff about the Judicial Executive Council, which we have not had in a while. And then revision to judicial code, we changed the list of people that we wanted to pull while revising judicial codes in the future. And then finally, Article 7, Section 1 has some independent position stuff. We just made sure that it was the correct name for the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General instead of the Assistant, et cetera, and specified a bit from the Constitution. So yeah, there are quite a few changes in this. Most of them should be minor. I think the big ones, like I should have pointed all of them out. If you've got questions, please let me know.
All right, are there any questions for the author on Bill 1? Question from Chair May.
Okay, this might be a stupid question, but under section 13F1C, it says if a quorum has not been met, then the Attorney General shall form an ad hoc board for the meeting. What is that?
1C, so an ad hoc board, which is also actually what I used it in the question tag or the text. I used it in the whereas clauses, excuse me. Ad hoc board is basically just a special board that's created on the spot because from members that are already judicial members.
Is that clarified somewhere else in the document of what that is?
I mean, that's like special committee is Robert's Rules terminology for the same thing. And actually I was drafting a bill that to kind of try to standardize that terminology. I'm not sure if that's a definition in the document, and I'd have to like scroll way up. So
Okay,
I can
thank you.
try to answer that. Oh, and something that is important to note is if we make any substantial amendments to this, these judicial section has additional scrutiny that would be needed from the Office of General Counsel before those amendments would go into effect. The Office of General Counsel has looked over these two bills.
Awesome. The next question comes from Senator Blood.
On line 162, why is the strong community mentioned in the bill, but neither of the other two residential communities?
Yeah, I think that's because it was there initially. And
Can
so,
I take this in?
Yeah, you can
It's
answer
an
that.
umbrella.
Let's do it. At first I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
All right, I don't know what happened there exactly. Okay, yeah, so I think that probably was relevant. We removed overflow because it wasn't used anywhere else in that section 5. If strong community wasn't used anywhere else, which I think it might have been, I believe that there's a reason to keep it in. Oh, Ashton, do you have an idea?
In what section?
That's the definitions.
Sorry, I'm looking at our Attorney General document. It doesn't have the line numbers.
So yeah, it's section 1.
All right. Yeah, and we don't list the other two. That's probably just was there. So we can strike it to stay consistent. I don't think we discussed it at any other point during the thing because we cut out all our housing stuff. So
Yeah, I'd prefer to discuss that in Senate exec.
Yep.
All right. The next question comes from Senator Long, or Chair Long.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm looking at line 150. The definition of residence hall defined as any property operated by university housing, dining services. As to my knowledge, housing and dining also operates the dining centers. Is that accurate? So does this classify the dining center like Kramer or Derby as a residence hall?
To an extent. I believe this change was just trying to simplify it away from naming all of the residence halls because it was already out of date. It was out of date as is. And so it's also, that's maybe possible, and we can discuss that in Senate exec because I was working on this doing judicial meetings on Mondays. And so these two things so far anyway are great things to discuss during those meetings and try to get to revise before we pass it.
Cool, just wondering. Thank you.
right, and both would be still fall under housing and dining. So it's not like we lose oversight at all by not including them. So.
Okay, Senator Blood, you have the next question.
On line 1026, when an appeal to the student tribunal goes, it says that if you're going to bring an attorney to set appeal, you have to notify the chancellor of the student tribunal 48 hours ahead of time. However, earlier in the document, you had changed it to only be 24 hours for notification for initial hearings. So why the difference between the hearing and the appeal in terms of notification time for attorneys?
I think that may have been something we missed. Yeah, that 24 hours was looked over by general counsel and they thought it was fine. So Ashton,
Yeah, so we had this discussion. Obviously, we actually had a long discussion about it just because it's a big concern with due process. And ultimately, we determined that they're also allowed to ask for an extension for that time. So we left it the way it is, knowing that, historically, when they have that option to request an extension of time. So we wanted to keep it shorter so that, if we could proceed through these cases quickly. We can have a case where we'll get the complaint, say in September. And if they go through every appeal process and everything, and it gets, to the final stages, then that hearing could essentially extend from September through the end of November. So that's just kind of in there too, if we can move the process along a little bit, but also they do have the option to extend that time frame.
All right, are there any further questions or corrections for the author?
I actually have a friendly amendment that I just caught. There's a prior version of this bill where he had more sections than it currently does. So on line 1291, that section 6 needs to be section 3. And then the section 7 at line 1317 needs to be section 4. Let's see, is section 3. And then 13 whatever is section 4.
Senator Blood, you have the next question.
So line 891 with, there's some sanctions on registered organizations.
Time for questions has expired.
Time for questions has expired. Is there a motion to extend? Senator Lynn moved to extend by 5. That was, seconded by Croslow, but objected to by Senator Stout. We will now move into a hand vote. Please make sure to keep yourself muted if you're on the Zoom. Thank you, thank you. We will now proceed into a hand vote on if we will be extending time for questions by 5 minutes. So if you would like to extend time for questions by 5 minutes, please raise your hand in the chat now. Also, if you are a proxy, you may you can DM me. Okay, I am going to clear all feedback. And then if you are opposed to extending time for questions by 5 minutes, please raise your hand in the chat now. And if you're a proxy, please DM me. Okay, with that, the motion to extend time for questions by 5 minutes fails by a vote of 19 to 22. And so with that, time will not be extended for questions.
Hey, if you find any more of those things, please send them to me by Monday because I would very much like to have them. But questions may not have been the best time. I don't know.
Okay, and so with that, next up on the agenda, we have Bill 2202. Is there a motion to consider this bill? If there's a motion, please indicate so in the chat. Moved by Senator Gomez or Pineda Gomez, seconded by Chair Long. Thank you for changing your name. With that, will the author please come forward?
Be here.
Yep.
All right, I've got to scroll down. Yeah, so I mean, this is the changes to the Constitution that are paired with the changes to the bylaws. If you, for some odd reason, voted down the changes to the bylaws, also vote no on this. So the only major changes here are those that are kind of the same as the changes we made to the bylaws, except for this section 1 here, which is explicitly extending the exemption. So if you didn't know, student senators actually are supposed to be granted access to anyone in SGA's files upon request. And so that was except those of the Attorney General, but this really should be the judicial branch because almost everything they have and that they do is confidential and shouldn't be disclosed. So I would change that to judicial branch. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So sorry. Point of parliamentary query? I forgot the.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Senator Blood.
Was the motion to summarize granted for all pieces of legislation that we're introducing today or solely for Bill 1.
That was only granted for, yeah, it was only for Bill 1. If there was a motion to summarize Bill 2, that would be entertained at this time. Move the author to summarize by Chair May, seconded by Pineda Gomez. Are there any objections for the author summarizing? Objection by Senator Blood. We'll now move into a hand vote for the author to be allowed to summarize Bill 2. And so with that, if you are in favor of allowing the author to summarize Bill 2, please raise your hand at this time in the participants window. Chair Long, you have a point of order. Yes.
The motion that I introduced and was passed was allow all authors to summarize. Does that not count for this?
The motion that you did earlier
Was for all authors to summarize.
Was it?
It was.
I apologize for that. I missed that. Okay. Yes, that is correct. That is my bad. So never mind. This vote is not needed. I will clear all feedback. Clearing feedback. Awesome. Okay. That is my fault. Andrew, you can summarize.
I will continue summarizing where I left off. So yeah, extended that to the judicial branch so that we won't be able to get access to their files anymore, which would be in line with what they're currently doing. The other change here is just that the university president can't can't authorize the dean of students to unilaterally impose sanctions for some reason. Paring down the number of boards, yeah, and then removing the student body president's supposed role in appointing members to judicial boards. And instead, basically kind of replacing that with a new 206 judicial leadership section. And so that is all of the stuff that we took out of the bylaws regarding the duties and responsibilities of the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General and moving it to the Constitution. Then as far as composition of judicial boards goes, there are a lot of strike-throughs here, but it is important to note that most of those strike-throughs are basically just getting rid of the specific requirements that we have, say, one student from residence halls, one student from Greek life, and then 2 students at large or something similar to that. Instead, we added this, unless otherwise specified, appointments to and membership of judicial boards shall aim to reflect the makeup of the student body. The judicial branch really did want that to give them more flexibility and to also make it so that they could optimize for the makeup of the student body in other ways other than residence halls. So that's just a lot of changes here, as well as getting rid of all of the chief justices of housing and dining services, judicial boards and stuff like that. Other than that, there are just, we also deleted a requirement that no member of the boards described may serve on more than one board at a time, which we haven't really been following that either, and made sure that no member may sit in judgment on a case that they've previously heard as a member of another board, which also wasn't written very well. And then finally, in Article 13, we also made sure that the KSU-SGA Deputy Attorney General was included in the list of positions that we could impeach.
Was that everything?
Yeah, sorry. I'm open for questions.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, are there any questions for Senator Booz on Bill 2? Senator Blood, you have a question.
Yeah, Secretary.
So we're going to be adding via this constitutional amendment the position descriptions that were removed or would be removed in Bill 1. However, if this constitutional amendment isn't approved or takes longer to approve, would it be correct that we don't have an area where those job descriptions are like published, like in our governing documents? And what would be your recommendation on that to make sure those are enumerated?
Yeah, I mean, constitutional amendments do take longer because they have to go through the college councils. I believe that introducing and approving these at the same time would not be a bad thing. And I don't believe that it would impair our duties in any way.
All right. Are there any further questions or corrections for the author? Chair May, you have a question. You had a follow-up?
Not a follow-up, separate question that I put in once my first question was done.
Oh, I saw that. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Are you saying that currently in our Constitution, it says you can't serve on more than one board, yet we passed a bill earlier today having people serve on more than one board?
So let me read the current wording is, let's see, 60 something, subsection I. The current wording of that is, no member of any boards described in this section may serve on more than one such board at any given time. A member may sit in judgment on a case which they have previously heard as a member of another board. That's exactly backwards from the way that we're currently doing it. So yes, you are correct.
And if I might offer some context to our practices in the branch, we've got our student review board, right, and our tribunal, which is our appellate board. So the student review board hears a case, and that's where that legislation is, or that kind of writing is coming from, saying that, oh, if you're on SRB, you can't serve on tribunal. But we do have members of our SRB serve on the parking citations board, and we had members from all branches who served on our code of conduct review committee. So those are what those relationships look like in our branch.
Chair May, you have the next question.
If you go to line 146, you strike out membership of the student tribunal shall consist of, and then it continues on. Can you please clarify why that was all striked out? From approximately 146 to like 153.
Yeah, so can you repeat your question? Sorry about that. I was trying to get to the right place.
Yeah. Can you please clarify why the, I guess, requirements of membership were striked out?
Yeah, so I mentioned that while I was summarizing. It's that the judicial branch really did feel like that the requirement to have people in different living conditions wasn't a requirement that was really like improving anything about the branch, and that it was basically instead making it harder for them to find members to fill all of the positions on their branch. So that's their justification. I'm slightly less on board with striking this than they might be. This was reviewed by general counsel, and they did think that they didn't make any mention of it anyway.
And to expand on that, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to be doing this, but
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So that's kind of a silly way to define, I guess, diversity, if you will. Like it doesn't add much to our branch. We do member in our interviews. We do evaluations of our members, any biases they might have. So, if we've got someone who's super against drinking, we're not going to put them on a drinking case, stuff like that. So we do pick our boards and kind of customize what members we have on them based off of their strengths, what the case entails, things like that. So we do try to personalize it in a way. So with that, if we've got a kid in the dorms, then we will put someone from the dorms on that board. It just was a silly way to kind of define how we structured our boards, and we never followed that anyway. So.
Senator May, your second question is granted.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. So generally when pieces of legislation
Time for questioning has expired.
Is there a motion to extend time for questions? Senator Lynn, I will need a time by 5. Thank you. And that is seconded by Chair Long. Are there any objections to extending time for questions by 5 minutes? Seeing none, you have 5 more minutes.
Can I continue?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so generally when I'm looking at pieces of legislation and we're looking for somebody to fill a spot, the words adequately advertised or sufficiently advertised are included in that piece of legislation. So my question is, how do you plan to allow for diversity? And I know that maybe these putting restrictions on the membership could be restricting diversity, and so maybe striking them helps with the inclusion of that. But how do you plan to get more diverse people in the judicial branch on these different committees?
Ashton, like I'd love to let you answer that, but I do want to preface this with, it is kind of Student Senate's role too. Like if we feel like it isn't being advertised in a way that's sufficient, like we can try to reject them and say, hey, go back for more people. So that's a thing that we can do. Ashton, I'd love to have you answer that.
Yeah, so I think something we've been focusing on is less legislating in and more like thinking about our intentionality when we advertise these positions. So there's so many diverse groups at K-State, it's hard to write them in and not have like a board of 50 people. So saying that we're going to try and be representative of the student body, and with that, I know this year specifically, I didn't really I'm leaving, so Annalie kind of operated more of that like recruitment piece of it. So that would be a great question for her. But I know that she reached out to different groups on campus to make sure that, we're getting those materials out there, but we're, I guess, virtually handing them to specific groups to try and boost our membership with diverse students.
Thank you.
So she can speak to her process with that more than I can.
All right. Are there any further questions for the author of Bill 2? Seeing none, thank you, Senator Booz. And then we'll continue on with the agenda. Next up, we have Bill 3. Is there a motion to consider Bill 3? Moved by Senator Inacero. I think it's cut off. Seconded by Senator Kramer. With that, will the author please come forward?
All right. Good evening, everybody. We get to hit the ground running with privilege fee. And I was lovelily told by the former chair, Madison, today that, hey, I put your name on a bill and I'm telling you about it now. So welcome to the third bill of the term. It sounds complicated, but it's not that bad. So to summarize, this is a bill that transfers funds from our bond surplus account to debt reduction to basically cover our deficit from priv fee last year. So how those things generally work is we have to pay we make up each year when we have that deficit, either because we didn't have enough enrollment or for a variety of reasons. This year, especially because of the pandemic, we had a very large deficit, but even in normal years, because of how the statutes are formulated, we have to pay that out of the debt reduction account. And so that is the account that is normally the complete overflow for priv fee. And so if we have a year that enrollment rose and we actually collected more money than we needed, that extra money goes into debt reduction. However, that hasn't happened in a number of years. And so because that debt reduction account is low to its limit, we have to keep 5% of the entire priv fee budget in debt reduction. We are close to that limit. It's not the end of the world. There is another account called bond surplus. And so every year we have a consistent income into bond surplus because we are legislated to have to collect more money than we need to pay off the debt that we have for the rec and the union on those bonds. And so because of that, every year we have this extra money going into bond surplus. Bond surplus then is how we cover our deficit over into debt reduction. So what this bill is doing, the long and short of it, is paying finishing out those debts through debt reduction, and then backfilling that through bond surplus. I know that is a lot of information and some different account names to remember, but I will be happy to try and answer any questions if you all have them.
Are there any questions for Chair Harmon on Bill 3? Seeing none, thank you, Max. The next item on our agenda will be Resolution 21-2208. Is there a motion to consider this resolution? Moved by Chair Long. And then seconded by Senator Stout. With that, will the author please come forward?
Alrighty, thank you so much. So this resolution is essentially drawing into question the way that we analyze student success under the pandemic, right? A lot of aids and scholarship and things of that nature are determined based on, among other things, GPA filters. And ultimately, Creighton and I felt like in the current environment, GPAs, scores, grades, things of that nature are not an accurate reflection of how willing students are to learn, to contribute, and to really engage with their classes. It's just a bad situation for everyone, and I think we can understand that. So we want to specifically call upon the university to forego those same sort of GPA filters as they're renewing awards for the next year, not just because it's kind of wrong for people to lose money for something that they really shouldn't be held to account for. But more importantly, the students that are like brand new here at K-State that don't have a GPA buffer built up are the ones that actually have the most to lose in the future if their scholarships get terminated. So ultimately, what I'm asking all of you to do is use this resolution as a chance to analyze the way that we bring forth these scholarships and ultimately give people a second chance in the future.
All right, are there any questions for Speaker Pro Tem Saya? Question from Senator Blood.
Do you know what some of those current GPA requirements are for scholarship renewal?
That's definitely dependent scholarship to scholarship. So I couldn't give you any specific answers there.
Yeah, our general, like those ACT ones, where like you get a certain score, you get the scholarship. Those are right now a 3.0, but it does vary by the scholarship. Yes, did used to be 3.5. Many of the out-of-state ones are 3.5. Thank you for that. I'm not next to my computer. Are there?
There aren't any.
Okay, intern coordinator Arnold, you have a question. Oh my gosh.
Did you guys work with any of the bodies that like SGA or committees that work with like tuition and fees like TFSC or anything like that when crafting this?
Yeah, I'll be direct. No, we haven't reached out to any of those particular committees at the moment. We felt like this was sort of time sensitive. Of course, this was introduced last week. So we're definitely trying to get our message out there that we don't think these sort of restrictions are fair. Of course, the way that they change those requirements, like in the book, is really up to the discretion of those committees. This is more about expressing the opinion that we don't think that those requirements right now are an accurate reflection of students.
Are there any further questions for Speaker Pro Tem Saya? Seeing none, thank you for that. The next item on our agenda is Resolution 21-2214. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 14? Moved by Senator Croslow and then seconded by Senator Bain. With that, you have the floor again.
Thank you so much again, everyone. Getting to hear a lot from me this evening. So this resolution is actually the culmination of months of work on behalf of Sarah and I that really took a deep dive into the way that we at Kansas State sort of organize our student organizations and the way that we structure authority around them. So to give a really brief summary, sometime in the recent past, I want to say 2015, but I'm not certain that that's correct, we made a change to our organization policy that to a very simplified degree, kind of kicked out what we call independent student organizations and made it very clear that they were super separate from the university. We can still register them. They can still, of course, apply to SGA for funds. They can still use the union for facilities, things of that nature. But the university states multiple times in its policy that they are in no way endorsed or affiliated with the university, and we're not responsible for them. At the time, this may have seemed like a very appropriate decision, but particularly because of Director Haggard's Title IX resolution that was introduced in the last session, we saw pretty clearly that because of the way that we have our student organizations structured, which is important to note, this structure applies to Greek organizations as well. It becomes really hard for the university to protect students with regard to Title IX and in general enforce things that it thinks are for the benefit of students. Another example that we point to is how fraternities and sororities have been impacted by COVID, where largely they've been left on their own and haven't been given the university support necessary to really be able to deal with this crisis in a safe way. So ultimately, we are not trying to reinvent the policy ourselves, but looking at the models that the other schools in the Big 12 provide us, we can see two things. Number one, we can see that Kansas State is very unique in the way that it has structured its policy. We don't really have any other examples to draw from as far as how we operate. And second, we can see what successful policies look like. So we just drew some very common factors between those other universities, and we asked that the university revisit its student org policy, take from those factors and design something that might be more successful in terms of protecting students across a variety of disciplines.
All right, are there any questions or corrections for the author of Resolution 14? Question from Senator Booz, and then Senator Blood's next.
Yeah, I actually had the idea that clubs could not use any KSU trademarks unless they were DSOs. Am I wrong on that? Like, what is that requirement
that's
to
actually
use
not
some
true.
of them?
Any registered organization is allowed to use certain university trademarks, and a registered organization is basically any, both DSOs and ISOs can be registered as long as they apply with CSI.
Okay, can I get a follow-up? I mean, it's a slightly different question, but yeah, okay. I was wondering on your recommendations as well, is your second recommendation on adherence to jurisdiction basically predicated on the first one, or is it different? I'm not entirely sure what jurisdiction means other than like being investigated.
Yeah, so the first one basically is really focused on what we saw as the problems with the Title IX resolution. So that's asking us to investigate claims better, really look into our role. But number two focuses on the actions that we take against that, right? So I would say like looking at a problem and how you solve that problem are two different parts. That's 1 and 2.
Okay, thanks.
And Senator Blood?
Would you be open to referring this to a committee to enable us to really meet the title of the bill of student organization reform and drafting a much broader policy of reform with DSO and ISOs that doesn't just focus around basically Title IX violations to really hit all of SGA's opinions on DSO and ISO reform?
Yeah, I would absolutely encourage anyone that is interested in this topic to get in touch with me or Sarah about any reforms that we can make over the next week before we could potentially pass this legislation. That's definitely a downfall to introducing it now because we don't have the traditional committee structure that could review and look at other potential improvements. To mitigate that, we definitely want as many people's feedback as are willing to provide it.
Yeah, ask him, I'll repeat it really quick.
Would you then be open, because you're worried about that committee structure, postponing this then until the fall and really allowing us to form that longer vision and outlook that you feel necessary?
Yeah, the question is if the author would be interested in postponing this till the fall in order to basically get that feedback needed.
Yeah, that answer is no. That's why we introduced it now, despite that committee structure. That was definitely a conversation that we had as to, sort of the risk reward factor. We felt like it was really important to bring this, introduce this as soon as possible, especially since the period over the summer where we as a Senate art meeting, it kind of gives the university more time to wrestle with a potential solution to this problem.
Student Body President Dowd has the next question.
Hey, thank you, Nick. And Sarah, I don't know if she's still on or not. My question is, could you name the ISOs and DSOs that were involved in like collaboration of creating this policy? You might have mentioned that already. I would just really like to hear that, be that non-Greek and Greek.
Yeah, I apologize. I could not give you specific information on the organizations that were involved when that decision was made. I'm sure, though, that people or administrators that were around during that time might have a better perspective than I do. Oh, okay, yes. Largely, this was in consultation with Nathan Bothwell and research that we've done. I think Sarah could probably answer your question a little bit better when it comes to interacting with student organizations. That was definitely her end of the project. So I will direct that question to her and get back to you on that.
Are there any other questions for the author of Resolution 14? And then we also have a point of information in the chat from our advisor, Kelly Ferris, if you want to read that.
Yeah, of course. So a point of information from Advisor Ferris. There is a group of individuals, faculty, staff, and students currently reviewing the student organization policy. She serves on that review group and would be happy to listen to the concerns of the body and share the context of their work.
And then we also have a question from Chair May.
I guess, can you clarify why ISOs may use KSU's resources, operate on KSU's online organization, even though they're not, even when they're registered, they're not explicitly neither endorsed nor controlled by the university?
Yeah, so even though the university makes it very clear that we don't endorse them, as long as they're registered with the Center for Student Involvement, the policy dictates that they are allowed to receive those privileges.
Follow-up question?
Time for questioning is over.
Time for questions has expired. Is there a motion to extend time for questions? I'm stealing your chat. Senator Blood has moved to extend by 5 minutes, and that's been seconded by Chair Salmon. Are there any objections? We have an objection from Senator Warren. Run down front. All right, in the participants window, if you would like for there to be 5 more minutes of questions, please hold on. We have a point of parliamentary inquiry from Senator Blood. That is not Ariana. Yeah, Michael, go ahead.
So we use Robert's Rules of Order as a suggestion for our proceedings, not so much a rule of law. So we do divert in some aspects. So.
Yeah, and I'll just add that hasn't been our common practice, and so I am going to Max. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Chair Harmon.
If anybody is interested, we're actually not deviating from the rules. So it's a motion to pass unanimously. And so that object is to first of all, bring it to an actual hand vote. And then that's just a trigger, that's still a majority vote. And so the objection is objecting to unanimous consent, and then it goes to a normal majority. So it's not a motion to object, it's raising an objection to passing it unanimously. So all legit.
Yes, and so we will be participating in a hand vote that requires a simple majority in order to pass. And so If you are in favor of extending the time for questions by 5 minutes, please raise your hand at this time. Proxies, you can DM me. Okay, I'm going to clear all feedback. If you are opposed to extending time for questions by 5 minutes, please raise your hand at this time. Okay, with that vote, the motion to extend time for questions by 5 minutes passes 24-20. And so questions will be, question time will be extended by 5 minutes. Who had that? It was Chair May. You guys are making me get my steps in.
Okay, I have another clarification question. So you said they must be registered, correct?
That
To
is
receive,
correct.
I guess to receive like KSU facilities, whatnot.
Absolutely.
Follow-up question. If they refuse to register, or if they just don't get registered, but everybody in this organization is a member of K-State and there are no outside members, what happens then if they break KSU values, even though they're not technically associated with us, in terms of they've registered, but they are all members of K-State?
So if it's a group of students that has not like,
I guess like,
registered-
let's say there's like 5 of me and my friends, and we're all members of K-State, and we're not registered because we're like, no, we don't want to do that. And we do something bad, like we go kill a person. Okay, what happens?
That's an excellent question. That's actually why we went along making the claim that, you know, if you're going to register or if you're going to use university trademarks, like if you're going to affiliate in the university in the way that everyone else would understand affiliation in like a non-legal sense, like if you're doing K-State related stuff, then you should have to follow a lot of university guidelines. To be honest, if it's a group of K-State students, our student organization policy probably can't do a lot about that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, stealing a computer again. Are there any further questions for the author? All right, seeing none, thank you so much. With that, we have now exhausted the rest of our legislative agenda for the night. And so we will move into second open period. Senator Carr. The question was if any organizations that could be affected by this were consulted at all.
That is the question that I believe President Dowd was asking. I'm going to contact Sarah about that specifically. That was her end of the project.
Okay, unless there are further questions for the author, we will move into second open period. And so with that, are there any speakers for second open period tonight? Senator Booz, you have the floor.
Yeah, so second open period's mostly for, you know, student senators and that sort of thing to plug things that they're doing. And so I just wanted to mention that, like the speaker said, that, you know, we'll be on committee soon and you don't have to do anything over the summer, and that's definitely true. However, there's a lot of other ways to write legislation or to get involved in SGA, and I wanted to bring up a couple that I'm working on. So I have been a part of 2 groups, one of which was trying to work on changing our presidential election system to instant runoff voting, which would get rid of the individual get rid of the first primary election and just use the general election for literally every election that SGA has. I think that's a good change. And so if you want to work with that, please let me know. Also, we passed a resolution against Top Hat and other costly educational platforms 2 years ago. There's been a lot of discussion at the university level, and I'm still keeping up with that. And so if you want to be updated on that or like work with me on that as well, please let me know. My email for both of those is awbooz@ksu.edu. And then finally, I'm working on starting kind of a nonpartisan political organization that is trying to reduce political polarization, provisionally called College Independence, although you don't have to be an independent to be part of it. If you are interested in that as well, please let me know. I would love to have you. So yeah, please let me know on anything.
Thank you very much, Senator Booz. Does anyone have any questions?
I didn't bring my stuff up here, so.
Okay, it looks like that's all good. So you're good to sit down. We also have an open period report from Communications Director Grolmes.
Hey guys, I just wanted to plug the K-State drag show that's happening virtually tomorrow night. So maybe some of you who have like been here for a couple of years have been to the in-person one. I went last year. It was fantastic and I loved it so much. It was my first time ever going to a drag show. So I really encourage if anybody's interested to get on that Zoom tomorrow. It starts at 7. They also like encourage tipping to support the LGBT Resource Center and Sexuality and Gender Alliance Club. And also we sponsor some of their funding, actually. I'm reading on their website. So that's pretty cool. So check it out. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And then also kind of on like comms director stuff, if anybody has like throughout the term anything that you think should be put on the social media, let me know and we can like talk about it. And if you have any ideas, I'm always like really open to just having a conversation with you. And I'm very excited to work with all of you this next term. Thank you.
Are there any, oh yes, snap, snap, snap. Are there any questions for Communications Director Grolmes? Seeing none, are there any further speakers for second open period tonight? And now we have Senate shout outs with Speaker Pro Tem Saya, his first one.
Hooray. Okay. So first, shout out to all of the cabinet members who came tonight. Shout out to new intern coordinator Michael Dowd, but seriously, congratulations to everyone who was appointed to a position tonight. You all are so cool. Shout out to the executive cabinet. If there were to be a street fight between the 18 toughest legislative branch members and the 18 members of the cabinet would get 18 knockouts. Shout out to Senator McPhee. She is awesome and will be an amazing senator. Shout out to Chief of Staff Billman for doing her laundry today. Shout out to Tanner Koch. He kicks Aspen, haha, get it, Aspen, question mark. It sounds like aspirin, which is a medicine. Shout out Manny, potential cabinet member of the year, question mark. Nick Saya, your tie is tied slightly too long. I'm not mad, just disappointed. And shout out to Senator Booz for being such a great mentor. That's everything.
Yes. Big claps, yes. Awesome. So with that, all of our legislation from this week will be referred to the Senate Executive Committee. So we'll be reviewing that at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. And so we will move into second roll call with Speaker Pro Tem Saya.
All righty. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. First, Bellamy. Binkley.
Here.
Blood. Booz. Kahlo. Carr. Comas. Croslow.
Here.
Cunningham. DeMott. Doc.
Here.
Dunlap. Elliott.
Here.
Ansero. Here. Esslinger. Farthing.
Here.
Frederick. Glasscock.
Here.
Holland. Hotzel. Jambunathan.
Here.
Koch. Kramer. Lane. Lister.
Here.
Here.
Long. Lynn. May. Mayor. Monteith. Nelson. Oding. Pineda Gomez. Porter. Prester.
Here.
Ryman. Richenberg. Riffle. Rodriguez. Rook. Salmon. Scharnhorst.
Here.
Shear. Spliegel. Stout. Taha. Thomas. Volgamore. Wallace. Warren. Willis.
Here.
Alrighty, I forgot to do this first time. Is there anyone whose name I did not call?
Senator Kidd is here.
Thank you so much.
Senator Bain is here.
Also, thank
Senator
you.
Nick Fee is here.
Alrighty, I have everyone.
All right. And so with that, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn. And Senator Kidd has moved to that we adjourn, same time, same hybridized place, seconded by Senator Kramer. Are there any objections to adjourning? I thought that was an objection. Oh my gosh. With that, we stand adjourned. Have a great night, everyone. On the dot, 9:30.
You really did.